Thanks, John. Just very quickly, wanted to reintroduce Mark Snyder, who joins our staff as assistant football coach, work with linebackers in our front seven, and then also with special teams. I've known Mark since really for a long time. He was an assistant at Youngstown State, so there was not when I was there, but there was a pattern there in terms of the different people that we knew. And also, obviously, as our linebacker coach when I was the defensive coordinator at Ohio State. And have an opportunity to get him back here. I think every staff needs a great checks and balance system, and he will be that for us. He's an outstanding recruiter, outstanding person, guy that I've known, been in the staff meeting with for thousands of hours. So with that, I'll give you Mark Snyder, new assistant coach at Michigan State.
Oh, gotcha.
There you go. There you go. Got him.
All right, good afternoon.
Coach would like to go ahead and take questions. If you wait for the mic.
You're entering into a system where normally when a new coach comes in, it's because somebody screwed up. Now you're coming in where they don't want you to screw it up. How much added pressure is that? Because with your experience, this is probably a new thing.
Well, it is a little bit, but I tell you what's exciting. I mean, anytime you come into a program, and my hat's off to Coach Dantonio and his staff. They've done an outstanding job here, and that's what made this job so attractive. This is exactly what you just said. You know, you're walking into an established program, and very excited about that.
Me? Oh. Hi, Mark. Audrey Dahlgren,
Hey,
Channel
Audrey.
6 Sports. Welcome.
Thank you.
With the departure of Pat Narduzzi, Dantonio stated that losing that fiery personality, but you supposedly have a fiery personality of your own. How do you feel like that will incorporate with Michigan State football?
Well, you know, you got to take on the personality of the head coach, and that all starts with Coach D. And I think that part of the reason he brought me here was maybe a little bit of that. I do enjoy coaching the game. I enjoy being around young people, and I do have a little bit of that. And if that's what's needed, that's what I'll do.
Mark, I was wondering how unique is it, and have you done it very often where you come in a position where there's going to be co-coordinators again? I guess Mike's still going to be working with linebackers also. I mean, have you thought much or talked much yet about how that's going to work out, or is it fairly unique?
You know, not really. I mean, we just got here Thursday, kind of getting our feet on the ground, and that'll all happen through spring ball.
Coach, talk about recruiting and your connections. Really, you're extremely good connections, and you're lauded as a great recruiter. How much do you think that brings to the table, and what you think you can do for Michigan State?
Well, you know, I kind of cut my teeth in South Florida. That's where I spent most of my time. Probably the second area for me was in the New Jersey, the boroughs, Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island area. And then I've also touched, you know, obviously in Ohio, being from Ohio, and Texas and Louisiana. So hopefully I can bring something to the staff recruiting-wise.
Yeah, Mark, I'm just wondering how close you've stayed with these guys over the years that you're reuniting with now. I mean, I know Mike was a grad for you at Ohio State. I mean, have you stayed in close contact over the years?
Yeah, we have. You know, we have through, you know, this is a very tight-knit, coaching is a tight-knit fraternity. And when you work with great people, you stay in touch with those people. And, you know, had a chance to work with Coach and Coach Bowman and Coach Staten and Coach Tressel. You know, had a chance to work with Tim Allen at Minnesota. As a matter of fact, the Allens are the godparents of my children. So we've got a really tight-knit bond, and we do stay in touch. Yes, sir.
Coach, over here, can you just talk about coming to maybe a little bit more friendly system for a defensive coach than where you're at A&M? I know you were put in some pretty difficult situations with that offense.
Well, now, you know, it's all about what system you run, and we'll just say this: we're excited to be here. How's that? Very excited to be here.
Coach, over here. Yeah. How do you go about establishing credibility with the players when you're replacing someone that has been here a long time?
That's a great question. I mean, that's very, very important. I learned a long time ago, you know, kids don't really care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it's my responsibility, my commission to get these guys to trust me, and that'll be my first order of business is to do exactly what you just said. And it'll be tough following Pat for sure.
So, I go here. Okay. Yeah, I wondered what you ran at Texas A&M, how closely it resembled what you guys did at Ohio State, and then how familiar you are with, you know, the scheme that I know kind of Narduzzi brought to Cincinnati a little bit and meshed together with
have a lot, you know, did a lot of the same things that me and Coach D did at Ohio State. You know, it's kind of who I am. very familiar with what Pat brought here. We do some of that as well. So familiar with all of it. We know the whole system. So feel very comfortable there.
The special teams aspect, obviously that's critical. Mark is one of the few coaches that calls it just as important as anything else, calls the punt
No doubt.
most important play in the game.
Yes, sir.
Would you talk about your special, your maybe credentials there, your thought process there?
I've been a special teams coordinator before. It's been a while. I have to go back in time a little bit, but I've been very involved in special teams, all aspects. I enjoyed it, even though I was the coordinator, being part of that. And kind of my history is blocking punts. That's kind of has been my, if you will, specialty growing up in this profession. So excited to get back into that aspect of it.
Any other questions for Coach? Take one more.
I guess, can you just tell us how this came about? Was this something that you thought of? I mean, I know you kind of look at the coaching scene, that maybe Pat was moving on. Was this something that was instant when Mark called you, or?
Yeah, well, actually, the second I heard Pat was gone, me and myself and my family were going through, what our next stage would be, and we had some other opportunities, and some other opportunities were coming down the pike, and the second I heard that Pat was leaving to go to Pitt, I actually made the phone call because I felt like it would be a great fit on our end, and very thankful that Coach Dantonio feels the same way.
Mark, is it unrealistic to think there's an impact on a guy maybe that they don't know that you could impact this recruiting class with? It's almost full, but is that unrealistic?
We'll see. We'll see as we get. I'm just got here Thursday, and we'll head out next Thursday for a day, and then wherever Coach needs me to go. Again, we got to get through what our needs are and where the class is at. I really can't speak to that, to be honest with you. Again, we just got here and trying to get the paperwork done and meet you guys. And if there's a need, though, I do know some guys out there. Yes, sir.
Last question right back here.
Coach, you alluded to the familiarity that a lot of the Michigan State staff has from 2002 and that national championship team. How much have things changed, and how much are things similar since you and Coach Dantonio were on the same defensive staff that won that national title?
Football's cyclical, and it has changed quite a bit. Back then the fast-paced spread offenses were just coming into vogue, and it's all over the country now. I mean, it is what it is. This game coming up Monday night, too fast-paced. That's the way they feel the way to go about it. And so football has changed a little bit, no doubt. And I think that's what's unique about what we do here on offense. To be able to score points and still take the game in the clock, that's critical, and I think that's awesome.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
All righty, super. Thank you, gang.